You're listening to the Boston Greeks podcast with Adi and Foti. They've been bringing Greek culture online since 1998, and now they're bringing you the best Greek guests Boston has to offer. So grab your kafedaki and join us.
Hey everyone, welcome to another fantastic episode of the Boston Greeks podcast. We have an amazing show today. We have two very special guests, two very impressive individuals who are doing great things. Doing very tasty things, I might add. Before we bring them on, though, let me bring my co-host, Foti Stamos, on. How are you, Foti?
Good, and yourself, Ari?
I'm doing very well. And tell us what's happening, what's going on.
As you mentioned, again, another exciting episode. We always stumble upon so many great Greeks, whether they're in our local, national, global level. But these two guests deserve to actually be brought on so we can kind of celebrate what they're doing as Greek Americans in the local market, being that we're in Boston right now. That, it's interesting, we were discussing this earlier, that when we're out and about and we're browsing through, whether it's a retail shop or what have you, we stumble upon a Greek product that's in a non-Greek environment. And we always get excited. Just like as with the rolling credits that we see at the end of the movie, we see a Greek name, like, super excited, but we're going to talk to our two guests in 2 seconds, and this definitely is an exciting episode when it comes to Greek food products. Mm-hmm. So
nothing better,
right? So as we're getting hungry by discussing this, we want to bring on our two guests, Peter and Despina Sarianides from Theia Brands. Thank you so much for taking the time, and it's been a pleasure having you on here for the first time with us at Boston Greeks podcast.
It's a pleasure. Thank you so much, Foti and Adi, for having us on. We're excited to be with you both.
Right.
Foti and Adi, we're very excited as well. It's an honor. Keep up the good work. And you guys are doing a lot of great stuff from what I frequently view, and keep up the good work.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I mean, I get excited because being from Boston, you're a Boston, I'm assuming a Boston-based company or Boston and beyond.
Correct.
Right. And if I'm not mistaken, and we'll talk about this in detail, your brand is growing, and the fact that it's growing so rapidly, it's so refreshing to see the acceptance of what you're making in the mainstream market.
Absolutely. I'll let Despina kind of give a little bit of the backstory, how this whole thing came about. Yeah. We've been very blessed. Actually, our main product is spreadable feta. That's what we launched our brand with. And obviously, we're very familiar with feta being from the homeland.
Right.
The product itself is pterokafteri, as known in Greece, which is kind of spreadable, spicy feta.
Right.
But our story kind of goes a little further than that. It actually started in southern Florida, the whole idea did. Our mom, actually, we're siblings. Our mom is a chef. And for years, we'd do the Food and Wine Festival in southern Florida in Miami. Oh. And we had it was 3 days.
It would be a 3-day event, yeah. So Food Network would host it, and they would invite our mother, Georgia, who had developed multiple cookbooks throughout her career that were published, Barnes and Nobles and so forth, and had a local regional show called Cooking with Georgia that later on became Cooking with Georgia and Des, and I would co-host, and I would cook in the kitchen with her. And we had taken her local show and pretty much made it regional, and pretty much we were throughout the United States. So we would be invited to these Food Network Food and Wine festivals, and we would have to, within 3 days, cater to 30,000+ people.
Whoa.
So it was like insanity on South Beach, on the beach. What an unbelievable experience my mother had really given us. And so we needed a go-to item that we could serve quickly because the lines would just become enormous.
Only imagine.
So she was like, why don't we do I can't even say it right. Yeah. And you guys can tell he's the better Greek speaking one. But I'm very proud of being Greek American. But anyway, so we created spreadable feta. And I'll never forget that specific year because we had done so many different products. But that specific year, we had Public buyers come to us. Publix is a huge, one of the largest supermarket chains in the United States. Yeah. And one of their national buyers came up to us and they were like, are you guys selling this retail? And this was back, guys, in 2012. Mm-hmm. And we were like, oh God, no, we're in the cooking show, cookbook business. Long story short, they handed us their business card and said, if you're ever interested in producing this product, let us know. Long story short, like fast forward, we kind of put it on the back burner. And in 2016, my brother Darius here, Peter, I'm one of four. I have 2 older siblings. Peter's the youngest. And I'm right in the smack middle, so you guys can just understand how that goes in a Greek family. Yeah. I had to be tough. I had to be a girly, everything. But anyways, he approached me and said, hey, you know what? Mom and I really want to do this, spreadable feta. We think that it's going to do really well. Kind of looked at them. I'm like, here we go again. Here's another business adventure.
Well, I had to secure some funding, right?
So you needed me.
Right? We had to go through all the regulatory boards to get certifications, approval.
Sure.
It's quite a process, obviously, right? To take something to market.
I was going to say, I just want to ask you very quickly, without having to tell us all the details, but that is a process that probably is not recommended for a lot of people. Because I can imagine it's really difficult.
And Adi, if we knew what it took, I don't necessarily think we would have ever done it.
Wow.
So it was a blessing in disguise that we did not know what it would take, right? They had this great idea. We knew that it was viable. We knew that people really loved it.
Yeah, they were taking to it at the food shows.
And they were we then created it as our staple item in different food shows. So we went to Colorado, we went to New York, New Jersey. I mean, we traveled throughout the United States and used this as a stapled item, and people would go crazy. So we knew that we had a product that had legs to stand on. We just didn't understand what it would take, from, FDA, approvals, how do you actually
trademark,
a kitchen item and make it commercialized, right? And
hearing all this makes me understand so much more that your brand is a real brand. Your brand is a solid brand, and your brand is worthy of being in these different chains and these different places. So hearing that, really just reinforces that this isn't like a couple of Greeks who are like, we make some good spread. I hear you.
No.
Yeah, this is the real deal. You went through all the hoops. You did everything you had to do, and then you did shows. You said your food shows across the country and stuff. You guys literally paid your dues and did it from front to back, beginning to where you are now.
But from what you're telling us, it didn't dawn on you until that individual handed you a business card about.
Correct. It's kind of funny, Foti, Adi, let me just insert something to that. The card was given to me actually by the buyers. And the lady that approached me, I said, I didn't even know what a buyer was, right?
Yeah, we didn't know.
I said, we're here to sell cookbooks, right? We're just trying to entice people with some samples, right? That was the whole idea. You give a little sample, they kind of get a feel of your cooking, your style, and what you have to offer. And that was the initial idea behind it. And there's even a deeper story. It was about $11,500 back in the day to ship the product from Boston to the port of Miami. Oh, wow. And I'll never forget, it was scorching hot. Little did we know what would come of it, right?
Oh boy!
We'd be sitting here today, even with you guys and discussing it. But it really didn't hit us. It didn't hit me personally up until the Food and Wine Festival up at Bally's in Atlantic City. And when we got there and we got back, I said, the response is unbelievable. We had tried pitaikas, panakopita.
We had tried other
stuffed olives just to give people something, right, as they were going through our booth. And Despina and Mom were doing all these food demos. Yeah. So they'd be on stage, on the main stage and stuff. And when we got back, we were like, you know what? We really, really feel we've got something here. And we've been around the food business, guys, like a lot of Greeks, Greek Americans, the pizza shops, the dining, the whole.
Sure.
Yeah.
Damn it.
And I think that we feel extremely blessed for a couple of reasons, right? Just like many fellow Greeks, we've been exposed to the food business throughout many facets, but we were extremely blessed, with our mom, who was a very tenacious woman, who was very driven. Her Greek accent, nothing stopped her.
Yeah.
She learned how to read English. She learned how to write. She really was a self-taught woman.
Think about it. She says she learned how to speak English watching I Love Lucy and the Three Stooges.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. But one
That's
of
awesome.
the biggest missions as a brand, besides really identifying as a Greek American brand and really, being proud of our heritage and where we come from and what we have to offer as a culture to everyone across the United States and around the world. Yeah. Because, I think our cuisine is very unique. I think we eat very clean. I think we eat very healthy. I think that we use the finest, purest ingredients, from our olive oil to our oregano to our garlic. We put a lot of passion in our food. Absolutely. One of our biggest things as we created our brand, Pete, myself, and my mom, was that we didn't want to feed the public what we wouldn't eat. So we really stood by that, saying that we were going to create items that would be clean labeled, easy to read, labels, and that, we would create items that were better for you, but it was like the next gen, right? So we thought about feta cheese and we said, okay, block feta, crumbled feta. The American marketplace is really accustomed to those two forms of feta cheese. But let's introduce something different that would be spreadable feta. We would use the convenience. We would create something that was viable, different, but still within the realm of that feta cheese, and something that, my grandmother taught my mother how to make. And from there, our Mediterranean herb was our original flavor that we launched. That was like our first, anchor, into the marketplace. But quickly we realized that, we also wanted to add a flavor profile that everyone was accustomed to. So then we created roasted red pepper, buffalo being our number one seller today.
Buffalo,
crazy, right?
Yeah,
insane, right?
We got our French onion dip, feta dip coming up now.
We have our French onion feta dip.
Sriracha.
Mike's Hot Honey.
We're doing a deal with that.
So we've been extremely blessed in that sense, because, a lot of people don't realize it's not just like making it in the kitchen. There's R&D that goes behind it, research and development. There's looking at shelf life testing. It's real-time shelf life.
You're feeding millions of people.
So of course, Can
I ask a quick question? Sure. How difficult was it to get a recipe that you guys came up with to be mass produced and still stay true to what you made when it's when it's made for all these people? I can't imagine that's an easy thing to do, and that must have been real tough for you guys.
Yeah, and that was one of the hats I wore in the company, was the R&D piece of it, working with R&D, working with Georgia, who's my mom, and really staying true to that recipe. And I'll never forget one of our very early stages of meetings. I'll never forget someone saying to us in a meeting that unless you put preservatives in here, because preservatives equals an insurance policy pretty much, you're not going to get anywhere. And I just looked at him and said, well, I wouldn't eat preservatives, so I'm not going to feed the public preservatives. So there has to be another way around this.
That one statement made me a fan for life.
It's like a movie scene right
That's so important to me, so important to my family, so important to everybody out there, I think.
Our audience.
Right?
Yeah.
Good for you.
And we stand really very true to all of it. We then moved on. We've created spring rolls, again, a better for you. We're redoing that. They're going to be snacking on the go rolls, where we're doing a spinach feta. We've created our own dough that they're wrapped in. They just happen to be more of a spring roll form. We've done a cauliflower and chicken. Again, these items are 45 calories, 50 calories max for each roll. We really, and again, the finest ingredients, like we don't buy like, like bottom of the barrel feta. We really stay true to our mission, which is creating better for you items that are good for your body internally and still taste good.
And keep in mind, we sell, one of our key clients is Whole Foods, right? So they have very strict
like regulations,
guidelines of what they require and the ingredient stack, et cetera, et cetera. So we sell to a lot of premier outlets like that. I
was just going to mention, as far as what the story that you're telling us is, what outlets actually are listening to you and actually taking on the product because of the whole ethos of what you're just discussing. So you mentioned Whole Foods. Any other outlets that you want to mention that are actually coming on board with your products?
Yeah, we got an awesome deal, fingers crossed, a mega deal with Publix, which is the number 2 supermarket chain in the United States.
Let's do it, guys.
North of 1,200 stores. That's a pretty big one that we've got in the pipeline later this week.
Well, yeah, we're really excited about that one.
To the Greek gods, please, we're begging.
That up in heaven.
It would be huge. We've got a lot of good stuff in the Midwest and Chicagoland, Northern Midwest.
We're in Shaw's. We're in
Star Market. So we do Theia Brands. The parent company is Yanio Holding, right? That's our main brand, right? But our house brand's Theia, the one we've been discussing here. We also represent other Greek brands
that we've partnered up with that we believe in with the same philosophy, right? Mm. Clean label, better for you. So our initiative has gone even a step further this past couple years with, looking at the Greek economy and looking at how we can stimulate it by bringing better for you foods into the United States marketplace.
And not only that, Ari and Foti, for us, listen, I don't want to say anybody and everybody can bring yes, olives, ladia, tiria. I mean, that's kind of mainstream Greece. But I think for us as a brand, as a business, and it's a passion. We have a love for food, period, in particular Mediterranean food. For us, we want to highlight Greece a little differently, right? Mm. We want to bring items that are more mainstream to the U.S. consumer, but we want to show the innovation of Greece. So that's what we've partnered up with brands. We've got a lot of good things coming up here in the next 12 to 15 months. We're very excited. And these are very premier brands in Greece that have kind of gone a little bit outside of their comfort zone. And we feel there's great opportunity in the U.S. So
that's so
a lot of exciting things. I think
that means that we have to bring you back on so you can let us know about this, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, and again, they follow under our values and mission of better for you, clean labels. So again, we, regardless of our parent company or our, brand Theia, that is our philosophy as a team, as a group, as a family. So we stand very strong with that philosophy with any company we do business with and partner up with.
Amazing.
Now that you're mentioning this, we're all seeing the progression that's coming out of Greece and the innovation that is, and it feels like it just happened in such a short time. But there's been a lot of development happening in the works for years, right? But now we're starting to see the fruits of all this work, where it's hitting all categories, all industries coming out of Greece, whether it's food, whether it's wine, beverages. We're meeting so many fascinating individuals that are representing just products that we would never think of that are coming out of Greece. And it just says, we sit back and it's like, wow, like what's going on? And this is great and refreshing to listen to you, to let us know that our Greek culture is staying true to its roots and reintroducing, you mentioned, Despina, clean eating. A lot of the products that are coming out of Greece that are from practices that are organic cultivation, biodynamic producers, no synthetics, no preservatives. This is what they've been doing for a while. And now in the U.S. market, it's been like a marketing ploy to get people to buy their products. When for us in our Greek culture, it's been part of what we've done for centuries, right?
Yeah.
No, very well said, brother. Very well said.
It's really who we are. So it is so exciting to be able to share what has been part of our culture for centuries to
Right.
so many others.
I always joke, guys. I always tell people, my friends, people I meet, even carrots taste different in Greece, right? There's something to be
Sure.
said about that, right? And it's something we take for granted, and they do back in the homeland. And for us, once again, not to reiterate myself, it was very important. We were trying to really expand what we're doing and stuff here at Yaniel Holding, and we were very selective, right? It wasn't that we did anything groundbreaking, but once again, we wanted to bring something different, right? We wanted to work with somebody that was going to bring something different to the table to really show the depth that Greece has to offer, right? Once again, we know we've got great olives. We know we got great oil, great cheeses, but Greece has so much more to offer, right?
We have great everything.
We do, brother. And it's not because we're Greek. It's the
We
truth.
really do. We
It's
really
the
do.
truth.
When
But then it takes individuals such as yourselves to
Right.
put that entrepreneurship into play as Greek Americans, as entrepreneurial Greeks. And it's not, you can't just grab something and be like, this is good, everybody have it. Like, there's so much work that goes into it. And you guys crossed that like journey of getting it from concept
Right.
into thousands, if not millions of people's hands.
Yeah.
And not only is it fascinating what you're doing, but it's also a pride factor for us on the local level that, you hail from Boston. We're very proud Bostonians in general, anything that's Boston. But a couple questions for the both of you, for our audience, Despina and Peter. Where did you grow up?
Boston, born and raised. Actually, we got a kind of a unique
Whereabouts in
Boston, Massachusetts.
Boston Rosendale is where we grew up.
Rosendale.
Yeah, Rosie all the way.
Rosendale.
Yeah, we still go to our
As
church
the
in
Greeks say,
Rosendale.
Rosadelli.
Right. And as far as your roots in Greece?
Η μαμά είναι από Αμαλιάδα, από την Πελοπόννησο,
Yeah.
and ο μπαμπάς είναι από Κατερίνη.
Katerini.
Από τη Θεσσαλονίκη απάνω.
Well, I think like most of Rosendale is from Katerini to begin.
Yes.
Right. Awesome.
Beautiful thing, yes.
But Despina was born.
I was born in Milwaukee, Wisconsin, just for 9 months. I mean, I was raised there. He's just insane. Because he's the only one that was born in Boston, so he thinks he's the true Bostonian.
Wow. When I think of Milwaukee, I think of Laverne and Shirley. Not you just.
I know, brother. Everyone always laughs.
But
They're
yeah,
like, is that why
listen,
you're so kind? I'm
Mom
like,
and
yeah,
Dad,
maybe.
Mom had family right in Milwaukee, and there was a lot of opportunity back in the day, right? They came in immigrants.
Well,
Your traditional story, right? They ended up moving back because my dad's family was here in Brighton, Mass. Oddly enough, my mom would get sick because of the malt with the way they would process the beer. And the doctor said to her, Georgia, there's nothing we could do. Either you guys are gonna have to relocate, get out of the city. And sure enough, they took it upon themselves to move back to Boston. And then I was born, the most important one in the family.
there you go.
The great city of Boston,
Wow.
the iconic city.
Wow.
Wow, this is a great story. I mean, I knew of you guys, I know of your product, but hearing it from, the creators themselves, just takes it to another level for me. And if I'm any representation of Greeks or just people out there, then this is so great for them to hear, because it really does mean a lot. You see something you like, you see a brand you like, it's great. But then when you really get to the background and the history of it, and you see all the care and love and efforts, and I'm sure as Greeks, lots of fights to get that product out there. It really goes a long way, and I think this is an amazing thing. And
Yeah, definitely.
I definitely wish you continued success.
Thank you,
brother.
guys.
Appreciate it.
And you mentioned like Theia Brands as the home company, but as far as our audience getting to know any information of whether there's a website you want to mention, we're definitely going to have all the. Ari's going to mention that in all of the notes of the podcast. Yeah. But I mean, you mentioned Whole Foods. Any other outlets that our audience,
please. I mean, so go to Theia's yummyfoods.com. It's Theia yummyfoods.com. You'll be able to see all the outlets that we're currently in and more to come. I would love for everyone to go out and really try our spreadable feta, our feta dip, our spring rolls, which our spanakopita is like our most popular flavor, and it really tastes like a real spanakopita. Stay tuned for so many more things, but really visit us on our website, social media. We're on Instagram. Peter's the king of that. Twitter. We're on Facebook.
About TikTok, Peter. Gonna start TikToking, buddy.
But it was a little too extreme for my Greek Boston blood, if you will. So I decided to opt out.
It'll just be you with your spreads doing all sorts of ridiculous dances. That's it, and you'll have millions of followers.
Adi, that's it, brother. Whatever it takes, right? At the end of the day, to get it out there, right? To get the word out.
Guys, we can't thank you enough for having us on. We really appreciate it.
Our pleasure.
You guys keep up the good work too.
Yeah, please go out there, buy our product, try it out. We'd love to hear feedback. That would be fantastic. We're always looking for the next hot flavor. French onion feta dip. Whoever would have thought of that?
I love the sound of that.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Like you said, whenever you have something to announce, let us know and come back on.
Great.
I just want to say very quickly, thanks for taking the time. Thanks for joining us, for doing this. I'm sure you guys have a crazy schedule. But everybody out there that's watching and listening, all the information that they mentioned will be also in the notes. So just click there, follow them, get out there, buy their stuff. It's amazing. It's clean. It's everything we love.
Delicious.
Yes. And we just want to say thanks once again, guys.
Thank you so much, you guys.
Much
it was
success.
really a pleasure. Thank you.
We'll talk soon, guys.
Take care,
All
guys.
right.
Bye.
Thanks, everybody out there watching and listening. We'll see you next time. Have a good day. Bye-bye.
Bye, guys.
Bye-bye.